Welcome to Venture Unscripted, a podcast where we talk with founders and entrepreneurs about their journey from 0 to 1.
Luka, tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me a little bit about Lookat.
Yeah, I'm from Croatia. It's a small country in the EU. I'm 35 years old. I'm married, father of 2 girls and a boy. I'm an industrial engineer. I was top student in my class. So before starting my own business, I worked as a project manager for nearly 10 years for one company that was into mechanical constructions. And soon after coming up with the idea of a selfie sculpture or Lookat, I quit my job, started my own company, and went all in with Lookat. So this was 3 years ago, and now we are here. So my company is still alive, and that makes me happy.
When did you start Lookat?
So Lookat has 3 years. Lookat is a startup company building next generation furniture for tourists. We built the first selfie column. It's a standing sculpture that gets tourists the best possible photo of them in front of an attraction. And it also enables them to have an augmented reality photo to educate themselves about the attraction and also to send a photo they just snapped as an actual postcard worldwide. We've installed first units last year. We had a great traction. We learned a lot watching people use our product. We raised 100K from the EU fund to improve our product based on what we've learned. And this is what we were doing in the last 8 months. So it all started with the sculpture, and now we are building a platform around it. A platform that connects all of our sculptures in a smart city tourist guide that by making it a game for tourists guides them through a city. And at the same time, by doing this, it regulates their movement. So this is basically what we are doing and where we were in 3 years and where we are stand now. And basically, I was walking one day back in my hometown and I saw a couple of tourists trying to get a selfie in front of one of the city attractions, and they were struggling so much. I remember I was laughing to them, trying to get a good angle. They nearly fell into the sea, looking for this perfect picture they so badly wanted. I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way for people in 21st century to get a picture in front of an attraction when traveling. But there wasn't, because what are the options tourists have? They can ask a passerby to take the picture for them. 9 out of 10 times, you won't be satisfied with that picture because top of the Eiffel Tower is cut off, and you need to thank that kind person that took the picture in the first place. And already you are looking for another person to take another picture for you. And there's always a selfie, which 2 of these tourists were doing. But when taking a selfie in front of an attraction, there's always heads in the picture front, and there's a little or no attraction in the back. And the only thing they want to have in the picture is the attraction. They want to have a memory from that city. And there's this third option, and this is choosing someone out of your group to take the picture, but then this person gets left out of it. And this is always an awkward moment. There are a few other options, like using certain gadgets like drones or something, like tripods. People can have a personal photographer, but this all takes time. And the thing we want to do is to help people connect with the city. We want them to enjoy the attraction and not worrying about how they're going to get this picture. So I was looking at these people and I thought to myself, there's got to be an easier way. So I said, what if there was a kiosk-like sculpture or a column or something with a camera already getting the perfect angle? So they could connect to this camera, they could have a preview on their own mobile phone, and pressing just one button, they could have their picture saved to their mobile phone. This seems like a good idea to me, so I sent a blurb to my wife. And when I got back home, she was like, what was this all about? What did you send me in that message? And I was like, remember when we were in Paris on our honeymoon and how we don't have a single decent picture from our honeymoon? There's only pictures with you separated or with me, and there's not a single picture with 2 of us together. And this is really it. And I presented the idea to her and she was like, yeah, this idea seems good. This is definitely something that I would use. So we called a few more people. We called my brother, presented the idea, and a few more people and a few more. And everyone seemed to like it. Then I Googled a lot, trying to find out if there's something similar already in the world, and I didn't find anything. Then I wanted to make sure the numbers match. I wrote a business plan, and the numbers seemed good. And then I said to myself, okay, I'm going to build this device. Why not? It's going to be fun. And this is, I get how it all started.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm definitely in your target audience. I mean, my wife and I went on our honeymoon to Hawaii, and it was very similar, right? I mean, it's just the two of you. So you have to kind of awkwardly ask people, "Hey, can you take a picture of us?" Or my wife and I trying to get a selfie. And I remember on our honeymoon, there was like almost a cliff, and I almost felt like I was going to fall off the cliff trying to take a picture of us both. So it's definitely very valuable. And it reminds me of too, when you're at an amusement park, right? Go on a roller coaster, you can go buy your photos. Like it kind of reminds me of that too, a little bit.
Yeah, so there's solutions who are kind of similar, but the problem we are solving is we are first of a kind, addressing the problem this way. And I think you mentioned the cliff, because did you know that more than 300 people accidentally kill themselves while trying to take a selfie? People are willing to die for a like on social media for a perfect picture.
Wow, crazy. I've got a look at one of your photos. It's a castle, and there's a guy standing there. It looks like augmented reality with some dragons over the top. That's kind of cool. So it sounds like there's a statue with a camera in it, and then, augmented reality is kind of putting the dragons overhead. Is that right?
So we have a column and we have a tree. We call it a sculpture. So the one that you saw is installed in one of the Game of Thrones locations. We put the dragons as part of our augmented reality because we are trying to add up more and more features because we want to separate ourselves from the mobile phone. We want to say this is the kind of picture that you cannot get with a mobile phone. And people like this the most. It was a funny thing, that picture with the dragons. We had like 10% of the people that enter this location, this fortress, to have a picture. And after we put the dragons and we put a sign in our sculpture that you can have this picture with the dragons, the number of people to take the picture jumped from 10% to 40%. And this was amazing and something that we learned along the way.
That's really cool. Yeah, you're adding value on top of something. Not only is it a perfect angle, now it's an actual feature, like adding the dragons, something you couldn't get before. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's not just the dragons. You can add various historical persons, people from local community. You can add famous persons. You can add sports figures. For example, in Chicago, we could put one of our sculptures in front of the Chicago Bulls arena, and people could take a picture with Michael Jordan. This would be cool, and this is something that adds value to our product.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of Chicago, what cities are you guys currently in or, testing out?
We are a lean startup, so we installed 7 units in Croatia, in Europe, last year. But being a lean startup, we wanted to completely understand how our product works in order to scale after, because we wanted to know what our customer wants before we decided to move forward. And this is why we didn't do any selling activity whatsoever after we installed these first 7 units. For example, we were testing how people react to the product. We were watching, we were observing. One time I just sat in a coffee shop next to one of our columns and I just watched the people, going by it the whole day. And the thing that I realized was that 80% of the people didn't even realize that it was there because they mistook it for something else. They think of it as the next thing in the street, as the part of the environment. But for the other 20% of the people who actually saw it, 10% of the people actually took the picture. This was important to know for us because now we knew we need to make this 80% of people who didn't notice it to notice it, and to make this 10% of people who did notice it but didn't use it to learn why they didn't use it and to make them use it. And what we learned is that people have problem downloading the app because in our product first version, people needed to download the mobile app in order to use it. And this is sometimes a process that took them 3 or 4 minutes if the connection was slow. We had this sign up process that they needed to fill in, and this was all a hassle for them. In our product improved version, which we are building at this moment, we are not going to use a mobile app. We are going to use a web app because the web apps now are so developed. They look almost as the mobile app. So people are just going to have to connect to the Wi-Fi, and that's it. They're going to have live preview of their picture on their mobile phone, and they're going to be able to snap a photo and move forward.
Very cool. That's awesome. Now, you mentioned lean startup. I'm a huge proponent of lean startup. So one of the things that I'm curious about is A lot of times you think of an idea, and if you're a lean startup advocate like myself, you always think, well, what can I do to test out the idea before I go full throttle building out something that's sophisticated, right? So tell me a little bit about you guys' lean startup process of even your first one and how it's evolved since then.
Yeah, so this is the thing I was talking about. We built the first product version like an MVP. We decided to install first 7 sculptures in 4 cities in Croatia and didn't want to sell any more sculptures. We just wanted to look, to observe how people interact with it. We had this camera, we had this product that you can take a picture with it, but it wasn't top-notch product. That didn't bother us. We wanted to learn how people interact with it. We wanted to do surveys to ask people, what are the features you do like? What are the features you don't like? Tell me about it. Is there something we could add to the product? We were doing a lot of surveys, doing a lot of questioning, observing how people interact with it. And based on that, we are now building our new product. And we are going to present it. We wanted to present it in April, but due to coronavirus, I think we'll need to postpone it. This is something that we do as a lean startup. We put a product on the market, even if it's not finished, we learn and then we pivot or we don't pivot based on the feedback from the customers.
Yeah. How long did it take you to build kind of the first version? Just out of curiosity.
I think it was like a year or a year and 2 months. So the problem was being with a mechanical engineering background, I covered the construction part, the kiosk. So I needed someone to help me with the electrical part. So I find a co-founder. I remember the friend of mine who worked as one of the first engineers in Bellabit. They were Y Combinator alumni. So I presented the idea to him and he agreed to start to work part-time in Luka. So he designed all the electrical components, the camera, the solar system. We both knew some programming, so we made a proof of concept that worked. Then I started to sell the product even before it was done. We had first orders, so we needed to speed the things up. I raised money from family and friends, and then I hired 2 developers to make our mobile app MVP. So this was the process that actually took us a year or something. We had a lot of problems with hardware at that time.
That's quite the startup story, huh? What's your business plan of how to make money? Is that from the locations and the areas themselves, maybe like the cities, or is it the municipalities? Who's actually buying it, or are you actually selling the photos as the people are looking at them?
It's a great question. We have 2 models. So we are selling sculptures and we have in-app purchases. In first, we sell sculptures to our customer, which are city municipalities, tourist boards, tourist offices, but also hotels, stadiums, kids parks. With buying a sculpture, they are getting also the whole backend platform behind it, supporting it, and of course our web app, which people use to take pictures. And the exciting part is that we let them keep half of the in-app purchase profit so they can make a return on their investment. And there's the second options where we don't sell sculptures to a city, but we install it with their permission. And in that case, we don't split the in-app purchase profit with them, but we keep it to ourselves. So these are the 2 models that we are using.
Okay, cool. And what are some examples of like the in-app purchases?
Yeah, so the in-app purchase is selling a postcard. So there's an option people can send an actual paper postcard worldwide through our app.
Mm-hmm.
So from the photo they just snap, we sell special augmented reality photos. We have some photos for free, but some photos that are much more advanced. We sell those photos. So for example, you can take a photo with Steve Kerr for free, but you pay for the Michael Jordan photo, something like that. And we have these other options. We sell marketing space in our app. So there's 3 purchase areas we do to make money.
Awesome. And so you guys are now in the phase where you've tested it out, Croatia, things you've kind of been able to take a look and observe and learn really rapidly and figure out what the next iteration is. And then it sounds like you tentatively were going to go to the market in April with the updated version, but obviously coronavirus hit and now that's kind of pushed back a little bit. But then are you looking to release the new version back into Croatia, like in your general area, or are you looking to continue to rapidly learn in your area, or are you looking to more scale and go out to different areas?
I think that we are close to the perfect market fit. We've learned through last 6 months, and we've learned a lot to be able to improve our next version to be close to the market fit. And as you said, we wanted to present it this April, but due to coronavirus, I don't know when are we going to be able to present it. Maybe we'll present it just on our webpage or something. We want to scale outside Croatia. We've already signed a contract with a German distributor, so we are exploring a German territory. And also we have a partner in Dubai. Actually, the idea was to present the product in Dubai, but we'll see what will happen now. We are working as what we can from home and hoping this ends soon so we can present our product and move forward. The one thing that we wanted to do, because we haven't do any marketing activities whatsoever, we wanted to film our products video to be able to present the product to people. The biggest problem with this product is people are not aware of it. We need to make people aware of this product. They need to know there's something waiting for them at the attraction that can help them have this photo, because 80% of people didn't even realize there's something there. With just different marketing, putting this dragon picture, we've raised the number of people to use the product from 10 to 50%. And these are the things we want to explore and work.
I'm curious, one question, you saying that, have you guys tried putting like a LCD screen that's more of a live preview where when people are walking by, they kind of go, what's that? Since it's live, they can see the dragon or they can see what's happening. And while they might not be in the photo, they can see, hey, it's actually live. Have you guys tried something like that? I'm just curious.
We've been thinking about it very much, but the problem with the LCD screen is that it consumes a lot of energy. And our product is fully autonomous. It works on solar energy. We need to be careful of how much energy does it spend. These are, the restrictions we are facing now, and when trying to decide whether we are going to put the LCD or we are not going to put the LCD. So I don't know. We'll see what will happen. We are thinking now about the idea of product being half on solar energy and half on the connected to the grid, especially in the areas where there's a lot of sun energy. For example, Amsterdam, we are talking with the people, and there are times in Amsterdam where there's no sun, like a month or something. And our product now is able to be fully autonomous without the sun energy for 7 days. And the new product will be able to withstand without the sun for like 21 days. And the LCD, the time is getting smaller.
Yeah,
so
that makes perfect sense.
LCD is a great idea, but the problem is the energy it consumes.
What a fun problem to solve. I always like to think of all these ideas, and that's a fun problem to try and solve. It'll be interesting to see how you guys solve it. That's cool.
Definitely.
Awesome. So, general question I like to ask everyone too is, what does innovation mean to you, Luka? Like, what does that word mean to you?
I think the innovation can have a different meanings, because you can take innovation in a meaning that someone made a wheel, and this is like a huge innovation. But innovation can also be that you build a product that solves some problem on a different way that was a situation before. I think our product is innovative in a way that it addresses the problem in a way that no one did before us. And I think this is the definition of innovation for us, for me.
Oh, for sure. I think you guys have drawn a lot of probably tried and true concepts from it of like I was saying before about on roller coasters or different things like that. It seems like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of market for buying those postcards, and I've never seen it. It sounds like it's very new and innovative. I've never seen it to where, you can do that in something like the Eiffel Tower or big landmarks, so to speak, or the Empire State Building or whatever.
Definitely.
Very cool. Well, I'm really excited, and I'm sure this is a question everyone asks you. When is it going to come to our city? So when is it going to come to Chicago? That's probably hard to answer with the coronavirus, but if you were to spitball, when are you guys hoping to go a lot bigger with this?
As soon as possible. I don't know how to answer this question, because given the situation where we stand now with the coronavirus, I don't know how things are going to evolve. when will the tourists start to be tourists again, when the airports are going to open again, and
Yeah.
when will things get back to normal. I would like to get there as soon as possible. I don't know how to answer this question, because we have the product ready to scale. We just need to bring it there. I think
Yeah.
this is the only thing.
Right. Now, in your original plan, like if the coronavirus hadn't happened, what was your original plan to kind of scale out?
So the plan was to first scale in Europe. So Germany was obviously our first country to scale, then some other countries in Europe around Croatia, and the United States and the South America market, which is also very interesting for us, was along with Dubai market, was the second market to expand that. So if things were normal, I think maybe by the end of this year or beginning of the next year, we would have these sculptures in your city. But now we will see how things are gonna move.
Yeah, things are a little bit crazy. They're a little different now.
Yeah, definitely.
hmm I love your product idea. I would definitely be a customer of yours. Anything else you would want to talk about or navigate the conversation towards?
We can talk about the platform we are working on now, because the sculpture is just part of what we are trying to achieve. We are trying to build a next generation tourist guide. So we want to connect
Mm,
all of our sculptures in one city, so they can make a tourist guide that drives tourists through city, that educates tourists with giving them interesting information about a city that they couldn't easily learn in Google, but
mm,
the information only a local would know. We want to connect the city and tourists on a whole deeper level. And there's this problem that we also try to solve and that we realize along the way. And this problem is that cities have huge problems with tourists blocking the most iconic tourist attractions. And there are so many beautiful places in a city that no one knows. And city wants to promote these places. And we want to make a game for tourists so we can move them from these crowded locations, these iconic locations, to the ones that people don't know, but city wants to promote them. And
mm.
we want to do that by making it a game for tourists, by gamification process. So for example, after they take a picture at one of the locations, they can take our mobile app, they can choose from the different routes we suggest to them, because we know at this part of the day you need to take this route because there's less people here, or you need to take this route at this time of the day. And so people could explore the city, take pictures, posting them on social media along the way. And while doing this, they are blocking the most visited attractions, and at the same time posting the pictures they are promoting them. Cities have huge problems with this. There are some cities, they were thinking about doing a ticketing system for entering certain parts of the city. For example, Venice tried to do that. And
Hmm.
this is a problem no one knows, but it's very real.
Oh, I bet. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. That's fascinating, actually, because when I go into a new place, I want to know and I want to go to these different places, but I'm not super savvy on the area. And obviously, it would be great to have an app that not only can guide me, but I can take great pictures. We've played this like a game as a team. We've had what's called Team Week. We'd have to like kind of run to different locations and take pictures, and who could take the most pictures wins. And you're almost gamifying that process a little bit.
Yeah, this is what we are trying to do. So take pictures here, collect points or hearts or something, and if you get 50 hearts, you get a discount at the final location, or you can enter the final location without waiting in the line or something like that. What we are trying to do, we are still thinking about it, but we started to build this because we already have a backend platform. We own the only thing we need to connect all of our sculptures, track the data from every unit, like number of people that take pictures. And by doing this, we can create patterns. And according to these patterns, we can make estimates and offer the best routes to tourists.
That sounds like a great idea. And I bet you a person and a segment that's going to just love your idea is going to be those local businesses by those landmarks that maybe aren't as well known, because it's going to drive more traffic to their businesses. That'll be a good thing for them.
We then can leverage from solving this problem, because moving people from these most visited locations and moving them towards these locations that are almost as beautiful, but no one knows about them and the city wants to promote them. We are also promoting these, as you said, businesses that are aside from the most crowded areas. So we can also have them pay us to do that. And this is also one of the models how we can make money out of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. It reminds me of the app. It was really popular at one point. I think it's still out there. Is Foursquare? Is that right? Like Foursquare checking into different locations, except you're literally getting your picture taken.
Yeah. So we are adding another feature. Go to these locations, have a great pictures in augmented reality, learn about the location, and post your picture on the social media with the hashtag that city wants to do that with. Move forward to the another location, and along the way you are collecting points which you can use for entering another location or entering a city museum or whatever.
Yeah, and I'd love that app, not even only from a sense of getting points and stuff and being able to redeem them in that specific location. Like if I was in Mexico or wherever I was, I love it from a standpoint of when I left Mexico or wherever I left, I could still catalog all my pictures that I could go back to. Is that some of the idea as well, to say, oh, we went here and here and here, and I can log back in and see all those memories?
The idea is, although we haven't started to work on this yet, is to make a social network for tourists, like a LinkedIn for tourists. So you can log to your account and see all the places you've been, see all the places where other people have been, your friends. You can compare the places, compare the pictures, you can like the pictures. And this is some idea we are moving towards.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, Luka, anything else? That was a great addition. I appreciate you making sure you hit on that, because that is a bunch of value you guys are adding on top of your service itself or on top of the actual physical devices. Anything else you want to add or highlight?
Yeah, during the summer we plan to raise our seed round, which makes us very excited. All the proceeds we plan to spend on marketing and sales so we can hit our goal of selling 100 units in the next 18 months and reaching 2 million in revenue. This would set us a perfect foundation for the A round and bigger expansion. We have a product that tourists love and that gives an extra value to the location, and I believe we've upgraded it to be a perfect market fit. So if you want to disrupt the selfie industry with us or be a part of our journey in any way, let's connect.
Very cool. That's awesome. Some great traction you guys have got there.
Yeah, thank you.
Luka, it's been a real pleasure. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about Look At It. It's a very cool thing. I'm excited for it to come to Chicago. I really want to start using it.
I can't wait. I want to install one of the first sculpture to install in front of the Chicago Bean or in front of the Chicago Bulls Arena. It would be such an accomplishment for us to go to Chicago and to install one of our sculptures there.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for your time, Luka.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you.